Dunu Falcon Ultra, the successor to the now discontinued Falcon Pro, which I didn't like at all. It was actually one of my least favorite IEM of that year and probably my least favorite Dunu IEMs I've ever tried. So, what about the Ultra? What do I think about it and how does it compare to the rest of the market? Stay tuned. Hey friends, Timmy here, welcome back to another video on Giz Audio, and today we have Dunu Vulcan Ultra, an IEM with two tuning nozzles. Yes, we love tuning nozzles. They're usually done so well. Joking aside though, the tuning nozzles provided with the Falcon Ultra is actually well done for once. Yes, they're tuning nozzles that I don't mind using, which is a rarity because I hate pretty much every other tuning nozzle. But before we get into all of that, let's first jump into the tuning. Falcon Ultra has a tuning that's not really exactly my taste. I love cleaner lower mid-range. I love poppy and energetic female vocals. The Falcon Ultra kind of gives almost the opposite of that. It has warmth, it has thickness in the note weight. The female vocals are more relaxed, but somehow, some way, the balance of those two elements are so good that I like it. It's the second warm IEM that I personally enjoy and that I would actually grab and listen to. If you guys did not know, the first one being the Truthears Twilight, and for the longest time, that was the only warm signature that I liked because again, I don't typically like warm signatures. But in the Falcon Ultra, it is very well done, and not only well done in one tuning nozzles, but well done in both tuning nozzles. Both nozzles deal mainly with the upper mid-range, the blue one having more upper mid-range than the gold one. So in the blue nozzles, you get more vocals, you get more energy in instruments, and they pop out from the background quite well despite the amount of bass that it has. The gold one reduces that upper mid-range, and you would think that by reducing the upper mid-range by that much, vocals would be completely masked by the bass, it will sound muddy, it will sound wrong. Not exactly. Vocal timbres still sound good. They still sound natural. They're just not popping out from the background as much. You get more of that bass thump, you get more of the bass slam. So in the gold nozzle, you get a much more relaxing signature that's much more bass focused. While in the blue nozzle, you get a more balanced signature with good bass focus and just as good vocal energy to balance it all out. Another two qualities that I enjoy are in the bass and in the timbre. Bass-wise, especially with the blue nozzles, sound fantastic. Dynamic, authoritative, and hits with distinction. In the gold nozzle, it doesn't sound as satisfying as the blue nozzle. The hits and impacts are slightly bit more pillowy, though not by too much. The second quality that I like is in the timbre. On both nozzles, the timbre sounds fantastic. The decay from upper mid-range to the presence regions to the treble area is smooth and satisfying to listen to. Natural sounding decay. And when it comes to just pure treble quality, it's neither too sparkly or too dark. It leans more relaxing, especially in the gold nozzle, but all in all, it comes across very natural. Now, for those seeking more treble brilliance, more micro nuances, more treble magic, the Vulcan Ultra is not that. The Vulcan Ultra is more on the relaxed side, treble-wise on both nozzles. Now for some of the cons in this IEM that you should know about, because every IEM has a con. Con number one is very warm. Some might say muddy, and I completely understand. It's by no means a clean sounding signature, so if fidelity is your number one priority, the Vulcan Ultra is not it. It's a very colored IEM, a fun IEM to listen to, a relaxing IEM to listen to, but not a high fidelity one. It is, again, just way too colored. Con number two, the treble. We already kind of touched on it. It's not really super sparkly or revealing of a lot of details, so in that aspect, it's a con if you're looking for those things. Other than that, the Vulcan Ultra is quite well done. Yeah, if you want a warm, bassy IEM, it's great there. If you want natural timbre, natural vocals and instruments, it also has that. So in essence, it's a very well done, warm tuned IEM. A signature that is arguably very hard to find a balance because it can quickly become way too muddy, or if the upper mid range is not done correctly or the treble is not done correctly, it can fall apart very, very easily. But somehow, someway, Dunu Falcon Ultra have found a way to achieve such perfect, or I shouldn't say perfect, but near perfect balance to make this tuning work. As someone who's not a fan of warm tuning at all, I still enjoy it. Next, let's talk about technical performance. Let's bring up my scale right here, and I would say the Dunu Falcon Ultra lands slightly above the Moondrop Aria, below the Blessing 3. It's just better than your average $100, $150 IEMs. And that's due to mainly the tuning choice being warm as well, kind of lessening that separation, kind of hinders the imaging quality a little bit, and also the treble quantity. It just has too little, and some of the micro nuances are, again, not as pronounced. Lastly, we have comparison segment. Let's compare the Dunu Falcon Ultra to some other IEMs around this price point, starting off with Moondrop Kato. Yes, a DD IEM as well. Moondrop Kato is your standard good IEMs for pretty much any genre. It's not the most fun IEM bass-wise, and it's not the most sparkliest or detailed IEM treble-wise, but it's a standard, good sounding, good timbre IEM and a good bass line to judge single dynamic drivers. Versus the Falcon Ultra, the Kato comes across cleaner, vocals more forward, while the Ultra is very much focused on the warmth and the bass. You hear that front and center, while on the Kato, you hear the vocals and instruments front and center. Detail-wise, I would say they're about the same, and as you can see, they're for completely different audience. If you want more vocals and that's your #1 priority, then you would go for something like the Kato, but if bass and fun is your priority, then you would go for the Dunu Falcon Ultra. Almost forgot the name. Next is Yume 2 and Performer 5. The two IEMs are quite similar in signature, balanced with a bass boost and good treble details. You wouldn't own both of these IEMs because it would be redundant. You would own either Yume 2 or Performer 5. Now versus the Falcon Ultra, I would say the Falcon Ultra is still bassier than these two IEMs. More emphasis on the mid bass and also more warmth leading into the lower mid range as well, leading the Yume 2 and the Performer 5 to both sound cleaner than the Ultra and also more sparkly than the Ultra as well, due to it both having good treble and a more balanced signature. Detail wise, I would give an edge to both Yume 2 and Performer 5. The micro details you get out of those two IEMs are more pronounced. And last but not least, we have the Tanchjim Kara, a very clean sounding IEM with clean bass boost and decent level of treble, especially in the air. A well-rounded IEM, balanced sounding with a bit of fun added on, while at the same time remaining very clean, not muddied in any way. Versus the Ultra, the Kara is much cleaner. The Ultra is again more warm, more bassy. So when it comes to fidelity, the Tanchjim Kara has more of that. Vocals are not really colored. The Ultra comes across much thicker, in the note weight much warmer. In the upper mid-range, since the Kara doesn't have the warmth going on for it, the upper mid-range pop out more. Vocals have more clarity and more energy. And in the treble area, the Kara is also sparklier. In terms of details, which one is better? I would actually give the edge to the Falcon Ultra this time. Even though the Kara has more air and has more smaller micro nuances, the incisiveness and snappiness of transients, it's not as good as on the Falcon Ultra. Alright, that's it for review of the Dunu Falcon Ultra. My final verdict for this IEM is a halfway thumbs up. Yes, not a total thumbs up, a halfway thumbs up. It's a warm signature that's done well. The tuning nozzles actually make sense for once. It makes me feel compelled to switch between the nozzles for once. They're not completely useless. Thank you, Dunu. And in comparison to the rest of the market, it feels like it has its own place. Yes, it's not a neutral sounding IEM like the Kato, the Kara, or a balanced sounding IEM like the Yume 2 or Performer 5. It's a warm IEM done well, which is something that, again, is pretty rare to see. So it has its own place in the market. It is a bit expensive, but it does everything right to deliver the signature that it wants to deliver. With that all being said, thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. I would like to thank all my Patreon supporters now. For the $9 people, we have Bard, Chadwick, K, Norm, Robert, Suni Roll. $18 people, we have Dr. P, Go to 10, Kirk, and Mason. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. If you guys want to support the channel yourself, link to Patreons down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Bye.